Today I'll be showing you step by step how I built the Neko Smol 40% Alice style gasket mounted keyboard. I'll also be building the Nekopad, which is a 9-switch Macropod. Both have kitty ears and were designed by Personal Loot and Playmaker keyboards. They were sent to me to build and share, and they're currently in group buy until January 1st, 2022 on personalloot.com. They come in 5 different colors, and I got mine in pink lemonade. My Neko Smol PR package came with a pre-assembled frosted acrylic case, a Prime E PCB, an aluminum plate and neoprene foam, and a Neko Smol coiled cable. The cable is a 90-degree left orientated cable, and you can choose from 5 different colors to match the case. I also received the Nekopad as a pre-assembled acrylic case along with a Keebio BD9N Rev 2 PCB, 2 rotary encoders, and a Nekopad straight cable in the same color as the last one. All the cables shown are optional, but I do recommend grabbing them since they'll match your build perfectly. I also received a Soda Kitten handmade polymer clay Artisan keycap made by Tulip Clay, which you can purchase on the website separately. It's super cute, comes in the same 5 colors to match, and these are first come, first serve. You can purchase both the Neko Smol and the Nekopad together on personalloot.com and save $20 if you grab them as a bundle. You can also purchase them separately along with the matching cables and Artisan keycap. To finish the build for both the Neko Smol and the Nekopad, you'll need switches, stabilizers, and keycaps. Before doing anything else, I'll be putting down my American Haptics work mat, which I've been using for every build since I've received it because it helps me keep super organized. I first need to test out the Prime E PCB to make sure everything works as it should, so I'll quickly plug it in and open VIA. I grabbed my pink fine tip tweezers from Stationery Stash and went along the PCB, testing each key. Everything works great, so the next step will be to install the stabilizers. For this build, I'll be using the C³Equalz PCB mounted screw-in stabilizers from the Keycap, which has mint colored housings and green wire. This keyboard only needs 2 2-unit stabs, so I pulled out all the necessary hardware needed for them. These stabs also included stickers for sound dampening, so I went ahead and applied those to the PCB. Before we assemble the stabilizers, I need to lube the housings. These are already pre-clipped, so I went ahead and applied my 205G0 out of my Kinetic Labs palette. I applied it to the housings and the stems. Like my past builds, I'll be lubing the wires with my grease syringe kit later on, so I went ahead and fully assembled them since the housings are good to go. To attach the stabs to the PCB, I brought out the small precision screwdriver from my iFixit kit. These stabs fit perfectly, and they were really easy to install since I only had 2 to worry about. Here's how they look after installing them, and here's a quick test to see how the plate looked on it. For switches, I'll be using the Keycap's new SP Star Marble Soda Linears. They released them in 2 colorways designed in 2 different materials for each, and I'll be using the melon ones for the keyboard and the OG blue ones for the Macropad. You can save 5% on these switches by using my code MOCHI on the Keycap's website. These are lubed with 205G0 with Krytox GPL 106 on the springs and filmed with C³Equalz film. This keyboard will require soldering and is not a hot swap. I inserted my switches into the plate, making sure that the pins were facing the right direction. I needed 46 in total for the Neko Smol. Here's how it looks after all the switches are inserted. Next, I set my foam layer on top of the PCB, lining it up carefully and then loosely placing the plate over it. I turned the PCB sandwich over and made sure all the switch pins were coming through. This PCB is now ready for soldering. I like to do all my soldering at the same time, so I went ahead and prepared the Nekopad as well. I used my precision screwdriver to remove the nylon screws holding the acrylic layers together and pulled out the plate for my switches. I inserted 7 switches into the plate, leaving the top left and right slots open for the rotary encoders. The encoders can only be soldered to the top row, so don't try to add them anywhere else. Adding them to your build is also optional, so if you don't feel comfortable soldering them on or want to make use of all 9 keys, you can totally skip this step if you'd like. I placed the 2 encoders into the PCB. It's important to do this before soldering any switches onto it because it'll be difficult to add the encoders if the plate and switches are already attached. Just to quickly test the fit, I did loosely place the plate on top and removed it after. Remember that the encoders will need to be soldered on first. After those are attached, the switches on the plate can finally be soldered on too. Before doing any soldering, it's important to wear safety gear, so I'll be putting on my respirator and safety goggles. This build is quite compact and uses only 46 switches, so it didn't take me very long to solder everything on. For the Nekopad, I soldered on the rotary encoders first, like I mentioned I'd be doing a moment ago. I then placed the plate with the 7 switches on top and soldered those as well. Here's how it looks so far. I plugged in the Neko Smol PCB to make sure that everything was soldered on correctly. I used the keyboard checker on VIA again and confirmed that it was ready to go. I also tested out the Nekopad PCB and that worked perfectly as well. I can now finally finish these 2 builds because the PCBs are ready. I disassembled the cases, inserted the PCB sandwich, and reassembled them. They're incredibly easy to put back together and feel pretty sturdy too. I nearly forgot, but there's still time to lube the stabilizer wires with the stabilizer grease syringe kit from the Keycap company. I'll be saying this every time I lube wires in a video, but this syringe kit really is the easiest way to do it. You can check this kit out by visiting the link in the description below, and don't forget that you can get 5% off this product as well by using my code MOCHI. I haven't even added the keycaps yet, and I'm already so excited with how both of these builds are looking so far. I forgot to film the small step, but now would be a great time to add the knobs to the rotary encoders on the Nekopad. I do want to look into getting new knobs in the future to match other keycaps I may want to use, but these silver ones will work for now. The last and final step will be to add the keycaps, so I'll be putting away my work mat. For both the Neko Smol and the Nekopad, I went with white jelly palm keycaps. I thought they would complement the frosted layers of the acrylic cases pretty well. But before we get into that, I'll be adding my Soda Kitten Artisan by Tulip Clay to the escape key. The details on it are very cute, and I'm glad to finally own a keycap from one of my favorite keycap makers. Here's how it looks. I added the rest of my keycaps to both the keyboard and the Macropod, and I'm really happy with how good it looks with the case. I've always loved the feel and look of jelly palms, and I'm glad to finally put this white set that I've had for a while to good use. Now these builds are finally done. Let's plug in the Neko Smol and the Nekopad in for the first time using the matching USB-C cables. The Prime E PCB for the keyboard has RGB underglow, which you can see around the edges of the case. For the Nekopad, the BD9N PCB has in-switch RGB LEDs and 2 underglow RGB LEDs. You can change the light settings in VIA for the keyboard and use a shortcut key on the Macropod to cycle through different modes. If you want to remap your devices or change any settings, you can use VIA for that as well. Overall, I had a blast working on my Neko Smol and Nekopad builds, and I'm very excited to add an Ergo keyboard to my mechanical keyboard collection. I was easily able to complete this project in about 3 hours, and it helps that these kits came with reliable and well-known PCBs that were easy to work with and have a lot of information online about it already. Like many of Personal Loot's products, I was impressed by the quality of all the items I received in my package. Playmaker also did a great job with the frosted acrylic cases. I've only recently obtained my marble soda switches, and with the Artisan keycap and overall theme of these boards being soda themed, I absolutely felt like I had to pair them with these builds. The typing experience is something I had to get used to since this is my first Ergo style keyboard, but everything feels really great so far, and I'm really enjoying the sound profile of the Palm. I also can't wait to use the Macropod with video editing, and I'm definitely going to make good use of my new keys. As I mentioned, the Neko Smol and the Nekopad are in group buy on personalloot.com until January 1st, 2022. I'll leave a link down below if you're interested, and I highly recommend checking them out along with the optional add-ins before it's too late. I've got 2 builds and an overview coming up soon, so make sure to hit like and subscribe to my channel if you want to keep up with my keyboard projects. Hope you're all having a wonderful holiday season. Thanks for watching!